So let's get out the crystal ball, Sally. What is the Vero Beach market going to do for 2026? There are some early indicators, but before we talk about leading indicators of what 2026 may bring, what was 2025 all about? 2025 was broadly a year of stabilization. We peeled back about 5% of our value from peak COVID levels 2022. In early 2025, our inventory was starting to accelerate and peaked in maybe like last April, but we still never got back to pre-COVID inventory levels, roughly of 300 houses on the barrier island. Then the great withdrawal started happening. We've talked about this before. Phenomenon not unique to Vero Beach, seen all over the country. Equity-rich sellers, if your value has gone up 50 or 60% post-pandemic, you've got a lot of equity. A lot of sellers tested the water, Vero Beach included, on our barrier island and our mainland. So a lot of sellers withdrew from for sale market, which meant inventory is tighter than it was before. And what's happened is a lot of sellers have said, I'm going to stay put. So what that means is less inventory, there was less demand too, everything was muted. So what can we see for 2026? Kind of depends what you're talking about. In general, about 3 weeks ago, the floodgates opened. Buyers are back at all price points, from $250,000 to $9 million, which is the house that I'm sitting in right now. I guess that's proof that you can only delay life for so long. If you really do want to come down and make a life change or get a vacation house or relocate down here for tax purposes and move to Florida and get away from old man winter, you can only delay for so long. Life intrudes. Or if you need an extra bedroom, you can only delay selling for so long too, right? Everybody had been kind of putting life on hold. So at a certain point, life intrudes, you go back on the market and you want to do a deal. So what about pockets that we're talking about? The barrier island, hotter than a pistol, from $1 million to $2.5 million to $3 million. If it has intrinsic value, whether it's wide water, whether it's in a coveted neighborhood like Old Riamar, or whether it's move-in ready, I don't need to do any work. On the mainland, still we are seeing very much demand for just off the barrier island. So maybe I don't want to pay the premium that the barrier island commands, but just off along the Indian River Boulevard corridor, Riverwind, Lily's Cay, Grand Harbor, go up the Causeway, Bent Pine Preserve, and the Lakeside Waterway, hot community. Those kinds of communities remain in high demand because it's easy to say yes to. You get a newer house, a cheaper cost of ownership, cheaper cost to enter and buy, and yet it's all right there because our beaches, as a reminder, no charge to use our beaches, no charge to access, park. It's easy to get to. And with our low density zoning, traffic isn't really such a thing. So anything that's perceived to be move-in ready, say 600,000 to 900,000 just off the barrier island, is also meeting a lot of demand. There's some exciting new projects just off the barrier island as well. We've got Grand Harbor has a bunch of new houses in a section called the Reserve at Grand Harbor. So there's exciting things that are happening which are interesting to take a look at that I think are going to continue to fuel this demand for a move-in ready just off the barrier island. So let's talk about the luxury market. The luxury market broadly is considered the top 25% of any market. And in our market in Vero Beach on the barrier island, largely that has meant things priced, say, $3 million, $4 million and up. Right now, what we're seeing is good houses with good fundamentals or move-in ready up to about $4 million are starting to sell. So what's happening is from about 3.5 under, things are selling. Over 3.5 million to 4 million, it's a longer go still. And we still have some ocean fronts that are older that are languishing on the market. And part of it is the condition and the requirements for code for riverfront, oceanfront have changed dramatically. And if you're looking at a house from the 80s and 90s, amenities. It might be a darling house, but it might be low enough that you're not even looking at the water. So it depends on condition, elevation, and price point. But in general, the higher end market is still the longer go. So, the luxury sector, your high net worth buyer has a lot of elasticity with what they can buy and where they want to go. So some of our houses that are not priced correctly, that buyers say, I don't know if I want to reinvest a lot of money in this house, is almost what I would call house purgatory. It's priced too high to buy it and knock it down, or too much to buy it and invest $1 million in all new impact glass, windows, doors, kitchens, bathrooms, roof. It's not for the faint of heart. It's a big job. You have to get the price right. And if you're not priced right, you will not sell. So let's talk about different types of sectors of the market for Vero Beach and what I think is going to happen in 2026. Entry level. Entry level on the mainland, $300 to $600. Entry level on the barrier island, $850 to $1.2 million. Both of those quadrants, I would say, are more subject to the vagaries of rates and the increased pressure that puts on affordability. So if those buyers want or need a mortgage, rates can only get better and make them more affordable. Right now, it's a tough go because rates make things less affordable. So if you're a buyer and you're interested in one of those two categories, a really smart strategy, talk to your trusted advisor. Think about strategy. What can you do to make your mortgage more affordable if you want or need one? Well, maybe you ask that seller for a contribution, something that's called a buy down, where they give you a chunk of money that helps artificially reduce your interest rate for a year or two, till maybe the theory is you gotta qualify for it even without their contribution. But the theory is in a couple of years, if rates continue to decline as they have been, you can either refi or find some other vehicle to complete the purchase and pay off the mortgage. Rates are more sensitive for entry level, mainland, and barrier island, and it's definitely hurting those. So rate sensitivity for sure, I think for the foreseeable future. I think some prognosticators think that rates will be, maybe if we're lucky, like 5.99 by the end of the year, in which case it really should make a difference. But until that happens, I think those two market sectors are going to be affected. So if you're a seller in one of those two market sectors, be creative and think like your buyer. And how can you make it easier for them to afford you and say yes to you? And a rate buy down at this point might be much more interesting than whatever countertops you have in your kitchen. Next category, waterfront. Waterfront is waterfront. They're not making any more island. They're not making any more Indian River Lagoon. They're not making any more ocean. And in a place like Vero Beach, where you have density restrictions, it's even more limited. So the market for waterfront is always going to be strong, and we see it as a very strong market going forward because frankly, it's part of what a lot of people come to Vero Beach for, right? So if you can afford something with private water in your backyard, whether it's lake, river, or ocean, good for you, and there's going to be a lot of buyers that want it. And then the question becomes, how much land do you have? What's the depth of your water? There's a lot of nuanced things that go into whether or not prices are affected. Deep water is our rarest of water for the river. Canals that have obstructed views that are tight are okay. Canals that are wide and have very limited obstructed views, like here we're on a bay here on Cutlass Cove, or the ocean, are in the hierarchy of price points the most desirable. So I think the future is very bright. Based on anecdotally, I just told you, all the houses are getting scooped up and people are saying, okay, even if it's older, do I like the fundamentals? Is the base elevation good? Is my width of waterfront good? And can I reinvest some in the house and bring it up to the next level where it's gonna pay for itself? Yes, buyers are coming out and they're saying, okay, I can make that happen. But if it's an old structure where it's a funky floor plan, or sometimes frame houses, people are disinclined to want to reinvest a lot in a frame house because they can be tricky to insure. That's a trickier go. So I guess that's a long way of saying even within waterfront, there's nuances that a trusted advisor like me can help you sort out. Now, let's go really broad, 30,000 feet. Whether you're mainland, barrier island, ocean, not ocean, interior or not, updated versus perceived as not updated. Still punitive, and this hasn't changed since COVID. Nobody wants any work, even paint. They don't want the uncertainty of the time, the cost, I don't know how to source contractors. I don't know what it's going to take. I don't want to deal with it. I'd rather pay you for it to be done, including your roof. Everybody wants move-in ready, and it's a lot more than just wanting to spend your time out on the beach or on the boat, which is part of it as well. But it's the uncertainty of cost, time, and I don't know who to source. I don't live down here. I don't know who to trust. It all plays into it. So whether you are move-in ready or not makes a difference as to how long it's going to take you to sell and at what number you're going to sell. Selling is a numbers game, fundamentally, right? Everybody knows that. The more people that are willing to consider your house, the better off for you. And if you're a buyer, you're looking for the kind of property that everybody else wants. That hurts too, because there's more people wanting what you want. So if you understand condition and perception of move-in ready and insurability with your roof affects eyeballs on your property. Whether you're a seller or a buyer, you can conduct yourself accordingly. But if you're a seller, I would urge you to talk to a trusted advisor and reverse engineer a strategy to bring your property to market where people say, it's priced right, it shows well, it looks good, I can move right in and not have any drama. That's the kind of property that the market's going to be well received. So that's my advice. So broadly speaking, the market is looking very good for Vero Beach. I think we're going to have a very good year based on the first 6 weeks. There are buyers back and they're writing offers and things are contracting, and we're having multiple offers on houses that have been sitting for a while. So if you're interested in stepping your toe into the Vero Beach market, whether you're a seller or a buyer, strategy matters. DM me, text me, call me, write to me at hello@thedaileygroup.com, and we can talk and sort it out and say, is this the right time? Should you be selling? Should you be buying? If so, what's the smart way to do it to get you the outcome that you want? I'm Sally Daley from the Daily Group. Thanks for watching. Until next time, take care.